The following is a presentation of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. Hello once again, everybody. Andrew Rogers here, the host of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 12. Yes, Andrew Rogers, your host here with you guys once again. Thank you very much for watching, tuning in, and we do really appreciate you being here. Hope everything's going well with all of you guys. Hope all things considered, things are looking good in terms of light being at the end of the tunnel of this whole pandemic. Every day seems to get a little bit better. Things are looking up, certainly. So that's good. Like I say, hopefully everything's good with you guys. Excuse me, and that you're doing well. Like I say, it's great to be back with you guys once again. I really want to take a shout out and a moment here to thank everyone who watches, to thank everyone who follows along with us, who's been really behind this whole league and their happenings off the hop here. We're really excited to get going in October. It seems like we're destined to get there at some point, so we're definitely really excited for that. And we're excited to have you guys along for the ride. If you guys want to keep up with anything that's happening, you can always visit our website, www.woshl.com. You'll find all the latest happenings there, all the links to the different teams' websites and their social media accounts. Here's where to find us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As well, make sure, guys, to subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's where you're going to find every single one of these podcast episodes. We're all the way up to episode number 12. It's just a fantastic episode. Great guests that we have on the docket for you today. We're going to introduce them now. Back to back for the Stratford Fighting Irish. Yeah, we have another commitment for the Irish as our guest today on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast, episode number 12. We introduce him now, Maverick Petrie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's at this time I welcome in our guest on this week's edition of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Another back-to-back Stratford Fighting Irish guests. Last week it was Zach Weir. This week it's Maverick Petrie. Maverick, great to have you on here. Thanks a lot for doing this. Great backdrop, by the way, and welcome, buddy.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, man, you look stoked.
Yep,
man. Like I say, it's great to have you on. Obviously, let's just jump right into it. How excited are you about the potential? The upcoming season. Stratford Fighting Irish going to represent Stratford and play in this new league. How excited are you?
I'm pretty pumped. Any chance I can get to play in my hometown, I think that's pretty cool. And playing in junior a bit, I kind of have some experience by playing in my hometown, and it's pretty electric. And I mean, the Willie, you can't really turn that down. So it was a pretty easy decision for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I guess, how did this kind of all come about? Like, it was, you said that, right? It's an easy decision at the end of the day. Like, kind of take us through that process of how that decision came about.
Well, just going back, I've been to a few senior games, watching the WOA and stuff. And what came about is Dad wanted a chance to put up a team in Stratford, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And I think for this area, I think it'd be huge for it. And so he kind of just ran with it, and here we are now. And he's got a lot of attention, and I think the buzz around town is just huge. And it's been pretty exciting so far. And hopefully, with everything going on, we can get stuff going, get on the ice, and get the league going this year. I really hope for that, and I think it will happen.
Right. Now, obviously, for those of you who can't put two and two together, obviously, Jamie Petrie, the league president, your father, also going to have a lot of time with the Irish. Is there a little bit of excitement for you with that? Have you played under him before? Have you, been associated in this manner, or is this a new experience for you?
No, I played under him before, 2 years in Tavistock and then a year in Walkerton. So
okay,
I'm kind of used to it, but I know still get the odd chirps here and there. It's like, oh, you gotta have your
Oh,
dad as a coach, and it gets kind of annoying because it's like every time you hear it, and
oh, for
like
sure.
I just ignore it. But like every time, you're like, just come up with something new, or like run me through the boards or something like that. Like,
Oh
think
man.
of something new.
Right, right. Maybe we'll have to do suicide bag skates or something, eh?
Yeah, try that. That'll be fun.
Now just like I mean, obviously, so you have a firsthand seat as obviously his driving force of this league. I guess how impressed are you from your point of perspective on what he's done with this league? Because if you ask around, man, it's impressive what he's doing, and it's like just the enthusiasm he got is contagious.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I think you can say like he's so passionate about this, and like he wears his heart on his sleeve, and like it's pretty cool. I didn't think it was gonna blow up the way it has, but I've heard nothing but good things on what he's doing, and just the whole league I think is excited for this opportunity. And you got teams like Alora, Tilsonburg, they're coming over to join this league. So I think that's huge, and they want to be part of something that's special, and like that speaks for itself.
Right. Now, that is an interesting part of it that you would signal out the two teams that are coming over from WOA. Obviously, you got four teams that are starting from scratch, sort of. I mean, you
Yeah,
guys, Langton, Strathroy, and Alvinston, obviously, they're kind of hitting the ground running from essentially the ground up, whereas you got Alora and Tilsonburg, they're coming over with a little bit of a pre-existence, in terms of a roster and a build and a culture. I guess what is your opinion on that in terms of how their teams are going to stack up against a team like the Irish?
I they'll definitely have experience, I find, and you can see, like I know Alora's been posting some of their players, and they have some guys that have played there last year or 2 years ago. Sorry, last year was
Yeah,
canceled, obviously, but
right,
they got guys coming from their team, which is nice. They've played together, but that also doesn't mean that the Irish, like we have tons of players on our team that have played together too.
right.
So I think we have experience as well playing as a team. But yeah, for them, it's good for them, and being able to start with somewhat of a foundation,
Right.
and like that's definitely a bonus, I think, for them.
Right. And obviously in terms of the Irish, like, is it like I know you guys have done some team building stuff, and obviously there's probably been a lot of chatter, whether it be group chats or just individual one-on-ones. Like, how has it been for you so far as a member of the Irish in terms of trying to get familiar with the guys you're going to be playing with?
Uh, it's been good. I think kind of as months go on and we start talking more, like some people, they don't know each other on the team, but that's on us to kind of break that barrier and
Right.
get to know one another. But like you said, like we've had a team meeting and stuff. And I think even just that first team meeting helped a lot. It kind of got people out of their shells, got people talking to one another. And you can even tell in the group chat, like more people are chiming in and stuff where it was kind of hush hush before because, like some people don't know one another, but
Right.
now like just getting that first meeting out of the way, I think is huge. And, I think we can really gel now and, go from there.
Well, what was so then that first meeting? Like, what was your overall take after it was all said and done? Like, do you guys think you're going to be a fun group? Do you think you'll be a loose group, or like like did it kind of say, okay, you know what, maybe this will turn into something real good? What was your thought?
Exactly how you described it there, like fun, loose. And I also think like with our identity as a team, there's a lot of guys that just want to compete and play for each other and still have fun going along with that. And I think that's huge, and it's definitely something that I enjoy to be a part of.
Is that something you've experienced in your hockey career thus far? Like, I know how, like, I mean, obviously, guys will talk to the end of the moon about how important it is team chemistry, team bonding, that you get along with your fellow teammates. And obviously, having them buy into this whole commitment thing where guys are showing up consistently and so on and so forth. Has that been something that you've noticed in the teams and the successful teams that you've been a part of in the past?
Yeah, for sure. And like you just said there, like successful teams, obviously, like when you're winning, it's a lot easier, and you just become closer as a team when you're winning. But also, like I found too, like even like when you're not winning a championship at the end of the year, I found like on teams like we're still a close team and stuff, and it's just great. And you want to be at the rink, and you want to go to battle with those guys, and it's definitely a bonus when you have a team that is basically your family, and that's huge, I think. And
Now,
I think with
yeah,
Stratford,
go ahead.
that's what we have.
Right on. No, that's great. That's a great answer. Now have you played with anyone that has been announced for the Irish so far? Like have you played with any of these guys before, or are you a fresh face?
No, I've played with a few of them. Like Andrew Bogdan, who you had on
Yeah.
previous. I played with him in Tavistock. Like Jacob Brook, I played with him in Tavistock, and then some of the other guys, like Tanner Johnson, played there too. Like I played with probably at least half or more on the team already, so I'm pretty familiar with most of the guys on the team.
Okay. And then you would have also played against some of these guys as well?
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're I don't know how many there is that played against, but yeah, I was playing against probably a few of them with how many teams I've been on.
Right,
They
right,
really
right.
unpacked the suitcase. Uh,
Right.
but no, like Tyler Arsenal, for example, like played him for 2 years when he was in Paris. We've had some battles, but it's definitely cool to be along his side now.
Right. Because that was my next question to you.
Yeah,
Like, is it going to be interesting in that sense? Because yeah, you are going to have guys that you've played with and you know kind of their style and what they bring to the table. But is it also going to be very interesting to play with guys that you've played against and saying, yes, like you just said, man, it's going to be better to have them on my side than have to go against them, right?
uh, yeah, like it'll be interesting for sure. But I also find like just hockey players, they just want to play hockey, and
Right.
they like you adapt to those guys. Like you probably maybe he didn't like me on the ice or something like that, but I think once when you're wearing the same uniform, you're buddies and your brothers out there, so you're competing for each other. So it is interesting, but also easy to kind of make the change. Like
Right.
in junior, I was playing in Mitchell, and then I got traded to Walkerton. And my last game in Mitchell, I played Walkerton,
Oh wow.
and yeah, it got rough. But then next thing you know, I'm walking in their dressing room, and you just kind of you shake the guy's hands, and you forget the past. So
Right,
it's an
right.
easy transition, I think, for hockey players.
Well, then I think that's what's going to be really interesting about this league also, because having seen other leagues like this one in similarities, there is that respect factor, right? So you go to battle on the ice, no matter what, because everybody's competitive. They have that competitive drive to win the game at the end of the night. But when you go up to a blue line club or whichever the case may be, it's all mutual respect. You know these guys outside of the game. You have a camaraderie, you have a mutual respect. Everything that's on the ice is left on the ice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the perfect way of explaining it. And now, like with social media and the internet, you know everybody you're playing already, so
Of course.
it's pretty easy to make the switch, and just like, oh, like I hated you last game, but now I'm your teammate, so like
Correct.
we're buddies, and we're gonna go to the wall for each other.
Of course. Um, yeah, no, I agree. This is going to be so fascinating, honestly. Anytime I talk about this league, it's just, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, that like the home opener, everything else. I mean, you've played for the Culletons in the past, you've played at the Allman. You could speak to that a little bit, because I mean, that is such a cool experience. I've heard playing in front of the Stratford crowd. What's that going to be like again once we get to that point?
Uh, Hopefully pretty loud. I know that arena can get bumping,
Right.
and there's guys on the team that have experience to have a chance to go play at the Willie again. So that just speaks volumes of playing in Stratford when you got a guy coming from London and he's wanted to play in Stratford and stuff, where like he probably could have thought about Strathroy, but he wanted to come here because it's they make it your home. And also guys that have played on the other side of the bench that didn't really get to experience being like a Stratford player while on Stratford. So I think like for example, like again, Tyler Arsenal, he's never got to play on the home side, and now he gets the chance to play on the home side. And I think that's definitely special for him, I believe.
Yeah, no, it'll be so fun just to watch you guys go out there and do your thing. Like I said to Zach last week when I had him on, that it's all about you guys, the players. I mean, the league is great. The league has some great people behind it and great people behind each organization, no doubt. But again, what we're trying to accomplish here is putting the showcase on you guys, the players, because you guys are the star products here. You guys deserve everything that you get out of it because you are such an unbelievable talent, and you guys deserve all that, that respect and that admiration that goes along with it. I that's my personal belief. So what I think is going to be really cool, one thing anyway, is going to be the streaming of these games. Like that's going to be so cool, having each game streamed and having, just knowing like there's going to be more of a global audience as opposed to the people that are just in the building. Do you think that's something that players might have in the back of their mind, or you think it's just going to be about hockey and nothing else?
Oh, I think that's huge. And, maybe there's a National League contract at the end of it.
Wouldn't that be nice, eh? Yeah. I'm going to go work for Sportsnet after this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To just blow up.
Oh, please. Yeah.
But, I think that's huge. And, like, out-of-town guys, and if their parents can't make it to the game, or if they have family that can't make it to the game, it's huge that they can flip on the computer and be able to watch their son play. And I think that's huge.
Absolutely. Like not everyone can travel and not everybody can make that, make that drive or that trek or whichever, and especially in wintertime when the snowstorms get absolutely brutal, it'd be a little bit tougher to get to say Elora, on a snowstorm, right? Like, but if you can,
exactly.
but if they still have the game going on, then at least that way you could still watch and be entertained. Maverick, when it comes to this league, I know a lot of guys, some of them are missing out on, they missed out on an overage year last year because of the pandemic. Some of them haven't played hockey in a really long time. I'm sure yourself included. And like, not just, and I'm not just talking about hockey in general, I'm talking about competitive hockey. Like, can you speak to that a little bit about, that fire, that passion to get back on the ice and play competitive hockey again?
I feel like I'm just going into my first year of junior again.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
Well, yeah, like I haven't played a competitive hockey game in like 3 years, but I still think my compete meter is still pretty high, and that's kind of one of my main characteristics as a player is my compete meter, and it's like it hasn't left me, and I think this is huge for guys that haven't played a competitive game in a couple of years, and they get to get the juices going again, and being able to play for something, I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's just going to be so much fun. We're speaking with Maverick Petrie, the Stratford Fighting Irish here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. I'm Andrew Rogers, your host. Mav, in terms of hockey in general, like there's a lot of reasons why any person, male or female or otherwise, would want to strap on the skates and go and play hockey. Like, what is it for you that you would say is the biggest reason as to why you continue to play this game?
It's kind of all I've ever known. Like, I was on my skates at 3 years old and just fell in love right there. And I've always enjoyed hockey. It's my number one sport. And, like there's people like, for example, my brother didn't like it at first. And now, like, as he grew up, like that's his sport too. He loves hockey. And I think for most people, like, maybe it takes a bit, but then again, like they fall in love with it. And I also think that it just, you meet new people along the way. You're part of like a team like atmosphere in hockey, and it also kind of shows you like how to work in an environment, and that'll translate over to your future and in life and too. Like it gives you life lessons too. So I think it's just a great game, and I will always love it.
Now, again, so you've played for quite a few organizations over the years. You've got a lot of
Thanks,
hockey
Raj.
pedigree. No, I'm not saying you're like a journeyman, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I'm
Sorry,
saying,
I'm just kidding with you.
no, I can appreciate the banter. No, I'm all for it, right? Like, I mean, sometimes I'm looking, I'm my, you're, what is it? You're your own worst critic at the end of the day, right, Matt? So, I mean,
Yeah, for
if
sure.
anything, I mean, at the end of the day, when I turn off the camera, it's like, oh, was I a little too robotic? But you know what? Hey, smiling and banter. That's good, man. I'm all for it. I want to have fun. I want to be entertaining on this podcast. So I appreciate you bringing that out of me. Thank you. But no, like, I mean, you've had a lot of experience when it comes to different teams and different moments. Like, is there some moments that stick out for you in your hockey career that are above the rest? Like, was there any like great moments where you won a championship or you scored a great goal? Like, is there something you can recall for us?
I think like going back to Stratford, when they went on that Cherry Cup run, and like I was just so lucky to be a part of that, and I also got to play alongside my best friend and Josh Higgins. He used to we played together kind of in Stratford growing up, and being able to win a championship as two Stratford local players was probably like the biggest highlight for me. And we definitely hugged it out after and said like, this is pretty cool. Like, who would have thought? But it was pretty special.
And I mean that's just so cool, dude. Honestly, like I think that's really interesting. I think that's what makes hockey so great. And I mean, you spoke to some things earlier, but I was talking with Zach last week about hockey being a brotherhood, like a brotherhood, where you just form such a bond with people that you may not think that you would normally if it wasn't for the game of hockey. It's just so interesting because it brings people from all different aspects of life, brings them into a team, gets them into this team atmosphere, this team mentality, and just really can, it's like you say, a lot of life skills go into it.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, man. It's honestly.
I think that cut out there. Sorry.
No, it's totally cool, totally cool. It's like, is there? So one of the things that I've been hearing, anyways, is that there's a lot of people. Like, there's some people out there that are saying that maybe Stratford won't quite cut it this year. They're saying that you guys have this underdog title and we haven't even stepped on the ice yet. They say that you may be too young, too small. Like, what is your response to that when you hear that? Do you think it's just bogus? Do you think it's just, hey, the guys are chirping already? It's fantastic. Let's get to it.
It's perfect. It's everything I like as a player. It goes well with my game. So it's pretty good when people are kind of dogging us, and it fuels my fire. And we'll see come first game of the Allman.
There you go.
But
there you go. I love it. Now, speak to this a little bit. What are the Stratford Fighting Irish getting in a player like Maverick Petrie? What does he bring to the table that will define this team? What is your intention, I guess, when it comes to the season? What is your hope?
I guess like from my how I would describe myself is like I'll definitely try and bring as much energy as I can to the rink, and I'm kind of a loose guy. I'm like in the locker room, I don't get too serious, but come game time when I step on the ice, it's business. But just try to be a kind of happy-go-lucky guy and try and create some energy for offensive guys like Graham Berlot and Jacob Bruck, and that's just how I would kind of describe my game. And hard work, definitely meat and potatoes kind of guy.
That's awesome, man. I like how you described that. That's really cool. And like I say, obviously at the end of the day, man, like this is just such a cool experience, this league in general. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening. And obviously your dad's doing a wonderful job, and I continue to sing his praises on this podcast because really without him, this doesn't happen. The last question I guess I want to ask you is about the community of Stratford. I mean, obviously being from Stratford, there's got to be a little bit of an extra bit of pride in for you, knowing that you're going to be a representative of not only this great league, but the Stratford Fighting Irish, playing for your hometown team and just being a part of this community in that sense. Like, speak to that a little bit.
It's huge. And like one example would be, I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I was at work I was at a house, and I used to do shooting clinics with his daughter. She was a goalie, and I didn't even know he recognized me at first. Like I said, like it was a few years ago. But then he came up to me and he just said, "So like, what's this new league about?" And then he goes, "Like, what's the Stratford Irish?" And I said, "It's basically like it's a senior team, but more of like a hybrid. Kind of want like young guys too." And I just thought like, wow, like this guy, like he knows about what's going on, and I think that's huge. And like it's just the buzz around town. Like I'm hearing about it. Obviously, like they know, like if you know me, they know my dad, and they know he's putting this on. But it's huge, and you see, like we had that chicken dinner last week or 2 weeks ago, sorry, and that was a big success, I thought. And just getting the community involved and just becoming like one big community together, sort of say.
No, it's great.
But no, it's huge, and just being out on the street and stuff, and people coming up to you and just asking you what the league's going to be like, definitely has people wondering and interested for sure.
No doubt. And you're a pretty avid golfer, from what I understand. How's your golf game?
Inconsistent, very inconsistent. Some days I can be average, and some days I can be awful. But that's just kind of where I'd put my golf game.
Hey, anyway, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting your pops, right? Dude, I've been out once, and it was awful. All right, just ask the guys from the Killer Bees. It was awful. We'll
work on that.
We'll have to do that, definitely, man. That sounds good, man. And we've been talking with Maverick Petrie, the Stratford Fighting Irish, right here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. We look forward to seeing you out on the ice this upcoming October, man. Thanks a lot for doing this. Appreciate it.
No problem. It was a blast. Thanks for having me on, Raj.
You bet. This Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast is brought to you by Joe's Diner. Come and enjoy Joe's all-day breakfast, located at 155 Erie Street in Stratford. Call 519-272-9933. And by Locker Room Lager. Dump and chill and enjoy these suds with your squad. Visit postgamebrewingco.com for details. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, Joe's Diner out of Stratford at 155 Erie Street. Make sure to check them out. Their food is delicious. As well, make sure to check out Locker Room Lager, Post Game Brewing Co. We thank them for being the sponsors of this podcast. I want to thank Maverick Petrie from the Stratford Fighting Irish for coming on once again, for joining us on the podcast today. It was great to talk with him. He's a terrific guy and a terrific addition to this Irish team, and we look forward to speaking with him again throughout the season. I want to thank our league president, Jamie Petrie, for all the hard work that he does and all the work that his team does as well. All the people that make this league happen and make this league great, we thank you. And I thank you personally. Much appreciated. Any player out there that happens to watch the podcast, if you guys want to come on, by all means, reach out to me and we'll set that up. We'll get you on here and we'll get you talking hockey and your excitement of the season that's upcoming. Once again, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching and enjoying, and we'll be back with you guys again next week, same time, same place. Andrew Rogers, the host, Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast, signing off on another episode. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay dry, because I know it's going to be wet here, and it's just going to rain a lot. So just make sure to stay dry and make sure to enjoy yourselves. All things considered, take care, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, see you.